Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for March the 25th through the 31st, 2013. And so I'm just going to take a moment to just tune in to the energy of the week and see what the angels' messages are for us this week. So there's a sense of an event taking place in terms of awareness for you. So what I see is, that you'll be viewing a sense of an awakening within yourself. But I get a sense that other people are now taking notice of you. So it's almost like what they're showing me is a tree, a very wide tree, a very expansive tree, and it's in like in a movie screen. But there are people, silhouettes of people standing around that tree, and so that tree seems to represent either some kind of event taking place of great awareness. It also, to me, is representing the individual, that there are going to be people starting to take notice of your awareness. And just taking off from last week, remembering that it was about you putting yourself out there and making yourself, showing yourself to the world. And so it seems like in this week, that awareness towards you, or awareness to something very important, is going to take place. So a sense of, really being grounded and really the center of attention, where you, with the big screen, in the sense that, you're going to be moving into the spotlight. You're going to be getting some notice. People are going to start to take note of your work. So that could come in the form of people just word of mouth, maybe some people just from some of the ideas that maybe you've put out there, some of the things that you've been doing, is starting to catch on, and people are taking note of that. So let's take a look at what's going on and let's see what the angels' messages and what confirmations we may get from the cards of more details. So the theme for this week is the Archangel. Okay, so the Archangel Metatron, and the card says prioritize. It says, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So in this message here, from Archangel Metatron, is that we need to really now focus, or there's going to be more focus placed upon what you're doing. And so people are going to take note. So you really want to, whatever it is that you've been working on, you really want to make that your focus, and to keep encouraging you to do what you're doing. And so if you need any assistance, to call upon Archangel Metatron to boost your confidence, to help you with the planning, so just call on him this week to help him to keep your mind clear and focused to get whatever you need to have done. Let's just take a moment just to tune in and see if there's anything further. And so he's saying that he's showing me a carpet, and like almost like a red carpet, but this looks white, and sort of a almost protective healing, and that then he's showing me a threshold, and beyond that threshold, so it's almost like what he's saying is that you're you're getting very close and you're about to step over and cross over to that threshold. And so he wants you to just stay focused on the few steps that are left for you to take along this threshold. So it's very important for you not to give up at this time, but to continue to focus, and you're almost there to what you're really trying to get. So don't give up and ask him for that help. Let's take a look and see what the focus for this week is and what's going to happen on Monday. So that's just kind of a theme. So the thing is, don't give up. You're almost there. And we're using the unicorn deck. And, you know, the unicorn cards, Doreen created for children and our own inner child. So maybe there's some guidance here this week to help us to not get caught up in any distractions that come up in our past from our inner child. You know, anything that could, you know, block our esteem, you know, so that our self-esteem rather, and to keep us moving and motivated. So let's just see. And the first card, this is the first time, it says curiosity. And the card says at the bottom, start a project related to something you're curious about. So if you're looking at the card, I'm kind of attracted to the cat who's just fascinated by this idea, this spark of light coming from the unicorn. And of course, the unicorns are all about creativity. And so one of the first things I'm getting from this card is to call upon the unicorns to help you with any creative ideas. So if you're feeling like you're getting things are kind of getting a little boring or stale, and you need something to spice up what you're doing, the project that you may be just beginning for some of you, or for some of you that you've been working on, to call upon the unicorns and ask them for creative ideas, to ask them to flow their loving magic to you and to inspire you with creativity. Let me just tune into the card a little bit to see if there's any additional messages from the unicorns. And so, yeah, it's just really confirming what I just said. So really, from Monday and Tuesday, and for the beginning of the week, what you're going to be doing is really sort of, you know, working on things and trying to bring for some fresh new ideas, and so just, you know, really to just stay grounded and really ask for assistance here. So you know, allow your curiosity to get the, you know, to really run with that. So, you know, use that idea, that motivation, to help you to reflect in a different way. You know, curiosity, you know, when we were children, we always were curious about things, and now some of this is required to help you move to the next step, or to have a fresh perspective about what you're doing. Let's take a look at the next card, which is the action for the week, and the first card was the focus. And so the card says decide. So the action here this week is that it says it's time to clearly make a decision about what you want. So, you know, this is an interesting card because most of us kind of, if you're like me, have a tough time making decisions. So it can be a little indecisive. But indecisiveness is also the way that the ego keeps us from moving forward. I think I remember saying something similar to this last week with a different card, but, you know, it's that whole idea that you feel like, you know, you're going to lose, you know, something. If you make one decision, you feel like you're going to be losing something maybe that may be better going in the other direction. And so they're kind of giving me the thought of the poem by Robert Frost, Two roads diverge in a yellow wood. The road not taken is the name of the poem. But the thing is that I remember the phrase that, that he took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So this is also saying, as you make your decision based on individuality, not what everybody else has chosen. We don't want to be like the herd of sheep who just follow what everybody else is doing because it's safe. Be more like the lion and who walks alone, and take the step that comes from within you, from your soul's truth, and not to be afraid to be that your ideas may kind of be out there and very different, and it may not feel like you may get a lot of support, but because you've made that decision, and it may not have been a path that has been walked upon by many, but there's so much there to learn. There's so much for you to be curious about along this path. And so if you're afraid more because you're afraid of taking that path that everybody else has not taken, the one that seems to be unworn, don't be afraid of that, because with that path, there's lots to look for, and there's a lot to keep your curiosity going, and which will inspire ideas. So decide. The action this week is to really, I'm going to just, with this card here, as they're telling me, back to this card, prioritize, focus on your highest priorities, not others. Decide, make the decision that's based on your priorities, not other people's priorities. Don't be afraid to go back to a basic inner child instinct, to be curious, to always, want to step and do the thing that people may not be doing, or that people tell you not to do. Look into it and be your own individual self. Let your heart be your guide, and let your truth be your guide. Let's take a look at the next card, which is the gift or the lesson that could be coming to us from making these decisions and choices, and to follow our highest priorities. And this is the card for the weekend. Now the card is water. Okay. And water is a gift, but let's just look at the card for a minute. And it says, drink more water and eat foods with water in them, such as fresh fruits and vegetables. So what I'm hearing from them is that, eating healthier foods, eating water, foods that have higher vibration, will give you more clarity. Okay? So drinking water and foods that have a higher vibration will give you more clarity, and which is very key. So if you've been feeling a little foggy lately, and the thing about it is that I know you've been feeling, because I have, there's a great deal of intensity happening. Now, in the last 2 weeks, they've been talking about us just stepping into something, stepping through gateways, and today a threshold. That means that this change that is coming about, and it just feels like time is just moving so fast in the day. It feels like days are shorter, even though here on the East Coast, our days have been lengthened by the daylight, but it still feels like it's going very fast. And so there's a lot of pressure about time. Maybe we're just feeling a lot of pressure from all sides right now, and especially if you feel like you're ready to make that move, but you're afraid to make that move. And so the thing is that we need to keep our body's vibration very high. We need to stay hydrated so that our energy stays high. We need to be eating foods that are shift us into higher states of consciousness, so that we can be more connected to our guidance and have more confidence and faith in our soul's truth and what the messages that it's speaking to us. So this is very, very important. I know a lot of people and all of us, I keep, forgetting to drink enough water every day, but it's very, very important to all of us. So, allow this week really, reflect upon this as a gift to us of clarity, that we eat these foods and we drink more water to help us to really stay focused and to feel alive and alert and feel energetic in order to make the clear decisions, and in order to really hear those ideas that are coming from the angels. And so we really need that. All right, let's take a look at the card for the fairies card, actually, which is our kind of like outcome or advice. And here we have again different card, but the same message. We had this in the Dolphins card last week about breaking free. And here again, the message comes back in the Fairies card. And I'm just really drawn to this light that is behind her, that is supporting her. First message I'm getting from this is that not only is it the universe, the angels, the light of heaven is really behind you and supporting you right now as you are trying to break free, to break through, that your soul's truth is really trying to break through for you right now, to be loud and clear, to guide you, to support you in your heart's truth right now. And so what we need is definitely that support is there. And, this is a confirmation that what you're trying to do is divinely guided. It is coming from a very high place of consciousness and support. And even though, we may get stuck, okay, in that indecisiveness, but also we're right now we're crossing a bridge, we're crossing a threshold, we're crossing through a gateway, and what's kind of keeping things at a crossroads or stalemate is the fact that it's hard for us to let go of the past. It's hard for us, okay, and there's my computer again, confirming that. So it's hard for us to let go of the past, and I'm just noticing in the card, look at here, another threshold here, okay, about that decision here, so there's so much, and in this card here, the water, we see that there's a wall of trees behind them, so that we need to connect, and behind this, it almost looks like the rocky gateways I was talking about in this card about a couple of weeks ago, that looks like Stonehenge behind it, sort of, but not really, because it's near the ocean. But it gives us that feeling. Again, that's a powerful, excuse me, vortex there. And so, there's something very magical and beautiful going on within all of us. And I know it's hard for us to feel like, all these things that we're saying is happening. You can feel it from within, but then you may not be seeing all the results that you want right now. And you may not always be feeling like you're hearing or the angels clearly, or you're not feeling the support from family and friends, or from within, or from heaven, but they're letting you know that the only thing that's really holding us back, and this is important in the action position, is that we're having trouble letting go of the past. We've lived this way for so long, and this new age brings about so much beautiful change for us, and new hopes and expectations, and yet, and we expecting certain things to happen, of course, but the thing is that we gotta be willing to let go. We've got to be willing to let go. We've got to also be willing to take a risk, and to have faith and believe that what's waiting for you just beyond that threshold is everything that you've been wanting, everything that you've been dreaming and hoping for. And so this really try to, allow yourself to have more, activities like, especially drinking water and the foods, but also any form of try to get out more, outside, be near a body of water, in nature, be outside so that you can get a clearer perspective that will help you to have more confidence and motivation to really stick to your dreams. Let me just tune into this card. I really think that the message is clear here, but just want to really just make sure that there's nothing else that they really want to say. Yeah, and so basically it's the same thing. And I think what they're telling me right now is don't be afraid, because they're showing me that movie screen again. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to be noticed. Okay? And the screen this time, what I'm seeing is just, a beautiful scene in nature. So don't be afraid of your dreams, because I think that's what we all want. We want a beautiful life, right? We want that to be what represents us, and that comfort and ease that they're showing me on that screen. So the thing is that there's nothing that can keep that from happening for you except our ego, and except, trying to hold on to the ideals of society. It was great when we were like the sheep, we fit in. Some of us didn't fit in, obviously, even then we tried. But now it's not about fitting in. It's really about being your individual soul's truth. And I know that's scary. And you know what? When it feels scary, just go with it. Go with the flow. Just really accept what comes to you. Don't be in resistance about anything. If it feels uncomfortable for you to step into your truth, then accept that it just feels uncomfortable. And as you just accept that it feels uncomfortable, know that you also deserve what you want, and just keep walking forward. Even though you feel uncomfortable, just accept, yes, it feels uncomfortable because I'm doing something different. It's going to be that way. That's just the nature of being a human being. We're not accustomed to change. It's not something that we're really wired for because of our ego's conditioning. So we just have to be very, don't get in a state of resistance. That means when you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I can't, this is very scary. Be with that. Just have full acceptance, nurture your inner child, be understanding and loving and compassionate, and just keep walking forward. So I'll leave you with that, to just go with the flow. Don't resist any of your feelings that come up for you. And in not resisting, it won't persist against you. It cannot impede your path. But when you resist it, then you end up struggling with it. And it's like anything that you struggle with, you're not going to go anywhere else because you're involved in that. And so that's the whole thing, is that to let it wash over your back. Just kind of let it wash over you. Anything that comes up from people or from within, from your inner child, let it wash over you. Accept that this is a natural thing because we are not used to change. And by not resisting, you're allowing yourself, and you're retraining yourself to not react to change, but to embrace it, so that it'll get easier and easier the more that you have future desires for you to walk right into them. And so, again, I thank you all for joining us for this week's reading, and I send you so much love and support, and the choices and decisions that you're making. I'm asking all the angels to be with you, as many as you have need of, Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron and the unicorns and fairies, to bless your path. as you take these final few steps towards this glory where you can now be seen and be noticed and be known. It is a wonderful thing. So again, if you have look at the descriptions below, and if you're looking for an angel reading or the angel coaching called Divine Maps, which is like sort of a psychic development course as well as a coaching. It's a combination of different things. It's about 10 weeks. So check that out on my website at theangelschool.com/services. I'd be happy to discuss that with you. And I wish you well, and God bless you, surrounding you with wings of love.